implacable rivals who have been racing against each other all through 1994 to the World Championship finale in Adelaide last year, when Schumacher and Hill controversially collided, well, for the first time then, and they've done it since, and now Damon Hill is in second position.
And two much better pit stops from the Williams team, particularly that of Damon Hill. That was in fact a second faster, including the pit lane time, than that of David Coulthard.
And off goes Damon Hill. Damon Hill bouncing across the gravel at the Spoon Curve. That's where both he and David Coulthard went off yesterday, and that has effectively destroyed not only his chance of catching Michael Schumacher, which was a slim enough one in the first place, but of retaining his second place in the World Championship, because that was David Coulthard going ahead of him at the Spoon Curve, and he rejoins behind Mika Häkkinen and behind Mark Blundell, who's already been lapped. So that means that Coulthard will have gone up into second place, Häkkinen will have gone up into third place, Damon Hill goes down to fourth position. But is the Williams damaged in any way? After leaping across the bumps, Damon Hill turns in. The pit crew are ready to receive him for an inspection of the car at minimum. It looks to me as though the front wing is all right, the rear wing is all right. They're going to put a new set of tyres on anyway, I think. And this is another bitter, bitter blow for Damon Hill.
It is indeed. I'm afraid it's also another mistake from Damon Hill. I'm afraid we really just have seen too many from someone who is really trying to challenge for a world championship. Now let's see what's going on. Looks like there's a problem with the nose cone. They are undoing the nose of that Williams, and that's about a 40-second job. We've got the stopwatch going. They need to lift the car up to try and undo the screws that hold it. And Hill keeping the engine running, just not revving it too much. You can see the other nose cone being readied. These are designed to be put on quickly because, of course, the front wings are vulnerable on these cars. On go another set of tyres, the front wing, checking it, and off he goes. Well, it was a quick stop, but I'm afraid Hill is now right out of contention. And it really is just a great shame to see Damon, who we know can drive quickly, just make too many mistakes, I'm afraid, under pressure. Now, here's what happened. Here's the replay. He's coming in doing 120 miles an hour. He gets wide, simply just drifts wide. The curb launches the car in the air. He's bouncing across the gravel trap, frankly trying to keep some power on at this stage to try and get sanctuary in the grass along the far side. That is exactly, in fact, what his teammate David Coulthard did on the Saturday morning practice session. It's Van Aert. Blundell's done more or less the same thing.
News from Tony Jardine in the pit lane.
Yeah, I've just been talking to a couple of the Benetton mechanics, and they said that Michael Schumacher has just radioed in that it is wet on the other side of the track. So I don't know whether that has affected the two drivers that went off at Spoon Curve.
Well, it could well have done. Wet on the other side of the track, but without wishing to sound harsh, and it's easy to criticise when you're not in the driving seat. It's the same for everybody.
And David Coulthard's going off. This looks like rain is indeed, it's the same place there, that rain is indeed falling at the back of the circuit. Now, this is when it's going to be so desperately important to monitor the weather, to read the track conditions, to feel how much grip you've got. We were talking about it earlier on when they're on slick tyres, and it started to rain here as well. I think we may be about to see, and David Coulthard gets very out of shape there. Now, that's where Mark Blundell went off. And Blundell went off a lot harder than that, but it looks as if, to me, some of the gravel came out from the side pod that was being contained by that Williams car, and as he braked for the corner, it shot back and it got underneath the wheels, and that precipitated David Coulthard going off. But Frank Williams distinctly unimpressed, and I'm afraid the fact is that it's generally reckoned that the Williams car is the fastest car of the year. Its reliability is not bad, it hasn't been the best, but they have not been winning sufficient races, and I'm afraid that does point the finger at the drivers. Good though they may be, they are not of a level, I believe, of Schumacher and John Lacey and probably Mika Häkkinen, quite frankly.
Oh, well, there it is, you see. Off goes the Sauber of Heinz-Harald Frentzen. He went off this morning, now he's gone off this afternoon. He's in 6th position. Is he in 6th position? Because that's Mika's... No, it wasn't. It was, sorry, it was Schumacher going past. And, of course, Schumacher, having told his pit it's wet on the other side, will almost be certainly, and you can see that, Damon Hill's problems are compounded by the fact that, obviously, after he put on that new nose cone, maybe he forgot to press the speed limiter button, and he's now coming in for another pit stop, another 10 seconds, plus the time that it takes to slow down and then get into the pits.
And this is that point there now, and he's done it again. This is unbelievable. He's done it again.
And this time he is out of the race. Well, words fail me. Both Williams out at the same point. First of all, Hill goes off, then Coulthard, then Hill again.
And it looks like Eddie Irvine spun at that point too. There's no doubt the rain is coming down at that far side of the circuit. Certainly that would explain Irvine and Coulthard. You can see a rather gleeful face there from Flavio Briatore. I'm afraid he's looking at a driver whose ability does not match that of Michael Schumacher, and he knows it.
And he knows too that Benetton have won the 1995 Constructors' Championship, the double crown, the World Championship for Michael Schumacher. And as a distraught, disconsolate Damon Hill trudges off the track, Michael Schumacher races on to what now seems like an absolutely certain 9th win in this, the 16th race of 1995, to equal Nigel Mansell's 1992 record.
We've actually got Tony Jardine down in the pits with David Coulthard, we've just heard.
David, a very, very sad sight seeing you go off there. What exactly happened?
Well, it's just simply we had a little bit of rain round the back of the circuit. And I didn't want to lose any time at all, so I kept pushing, and it was quite wet on that corner, and I slid off. I came back on the circuit, and then the problem was when I got to the fast corner, when I dabbed the brakes, all the gravel came out of my side pods, and I spun in my own gravel, so a disappointing way to end the weekend, especially after the guys did a brilliant job in the pits to get me out in front of Mika.
Schumacher not very far to the